This is going to be more vloggy kind of vlog. I haven't done this in a while, and today I just felt like it would be nice to make one again. Or really, I just forgot my better camera at the office, so that's why I am filming this with my phone. I've been really interested in acoustics lately. You know, acoustic treatment, different kinds of acoustic spaces, and spoiler alert, I am now going to talk about acoustics for the next half an hour or something, so be warned. But yeah, acoustics. I became interested in them when we got a new office for Hatfuls. We have been working in one smallish room to this day, and it's not really good because we have a lot of equipment and we have 2 workstations there, so they are all in one small room and it's always a complete mess, and it's really difficult to film anything there because there's just stuff everywhere. But yeah, now we have 2 rooms. One will be for our office work, all the workstations and everything, and the other one will be a studio. And I became super excited because we have never had a proper recording space anywhere. All of our recordings have been done at someone's home or apartment or anywhere, but never in a proper recording space. And I thought maybe it would be possible to make our studio also a recording space. And it's not a really good sounding place when you think about acoustics. It's mostly flat walls everywhere, and there's even a bunch of windows on one side, which is not good in a recording space. But then I began to do some research on acoustic treatment, and it turns out the basic principles of acoustic treatment are really simple, and we could make our studio a better place to record. It's part of a bigger complex and everybody leaves at like 4 p.m. So at evening times at least it would be quite a good place to be recording music. So you may be wondering, why is it bad that there's flat walls and windows? You know, what does it do to the acoustics? And the problem is, if you have only flat walls and not much furniture there, the sound is gonna echo, bounce off the walls a lot. It's gonna have a lot of reverb. And now reverb in itself is not a bad thing. But when you have a flat, hard wall, the sound will bounce off the wall and create this really sharp sounding echo. And when you have a bunch of flat walls around you, it will be constant, sharp echoing. And that is bad. It sounds really bad. So that is the problem with most of the basic rooms and our studio also. And the solution is really quite simple. You need to have 2 things: absorption and diffusion. The absorption means that basically you need to have sound absorbing surfaces in your room, and usually they are some kind of absorbing boards that you can attach to a wall, and they are usually made of wool or something that absorbs a lot of sound, and you place those kind of boards in your walls to reduce the echoing, the reverb. And the diffusion means that you break the flat wall into multiple layers at different heights, so that when the sound comes to the wall, it doesn't bounce off all at once, but it bounces off at different heights, different times, and it kind of smoothens the echo and diffuses the sound. You need to have both of these in your room. You don't want to cover the whole room with say absorption panels, because then it will be really dull sounding and there's no echo at all, no reverberation. That might be good in some situations. If you are recording speech, for example, you want to have as little reverb as possible. But if you are like us and you want to record music there also, acoustic music, then it's not good. And in most cases you don't want to cover it all up with only diffusion either, because that might sound a bit harsh to your ear. There will be a lot of reverb, and you basically want to have a nice balance between absorption and diffusion. When speaking about how much absorption and diffusion you want to place on your walls, it might be something like 25% absorption and another 25% diffusion, and the rest 50% just bare flat wall. Of course, it's not that simple if you dive really into it. There's all kinds of other stuff like standing wavelengths on certain kind of rooms, and then there's base trapping, and then there's all these floating structures that you might want to do if you really are about to build a magnificent recording studio. But that is not the case with us. We just want to have a decent recording space. I even made a simple simulation of our office's acoustics. Let me show you. Here it is. Now this is in no way a physically correct simulation. I just threw something together in Blender. But here you can see these are the diffusion boards and these are the absorption boards. And this right here is the sound source. And watch what happens when I play the animation. So as you can tell, what's happening is that when the sound hits the diffusion board, it smoothens out the reverb. It diffuses it, as the name tells. And when it hits the absorption board, it absorbs it. It doesn't reflect anything off. And I think this demonstrates pretty well why you need to have both of these in your recording space. You end up having a reasonable amount of these smooth reflections, and that's good. And for a comparison, here's a room without any acoustic treatment at all. So you can see the room becomes full of these sharp echoes, and that sounds really bad when you are in the room or trying to record something. Those clear lines there are all sharp reflections. And that's it. That's one of the things I've been interested in lately. And I hope we manage to make the studio room at least decently good for recording also. There's some problems. There's some noise from the air conditioning and the windows are a bit of a problem. There's some sound coming in from outside. But anyways, that's it about the acoustics. By the way, I also made some clouds in Blender yesterday, and I think they turned out pretty well. I am thinking of doing a new Findebaran intro with those clouds. I think it would be nice. But yeah, thanks for watching and see you next time.